Can a single sentence change the course of a narrative that has been built for years? Can one statement, delivered in a casual tone, dismantle everything a player defended for more than a decade? Because that is exactly what Cristiano Ronaldo just did. And he didn't do it on the field. He did it in front of a microphone, with Piers Morgan as a witness and the world of football as a silent audience. "Winning the World Cup is not a dream for me," he said. Just like that, without anesthetic, as if he were talking about the weather, as if he weren't the same Cristiano who years ago cried for not winning it, as if he didn't know that sentence would echo uncomfortably in the ears of millions. But the most curious thing isn't what he said, it's when he said it. Because this reflection about how 6 or 7 matches don't define a career, according to him, comes right after Lionel Messi did what seemed impossible: winning the World Cup with Argentina, lifting the trophy in Qatar, and closing the circle of a career that was already legendary. And of course, when your eternal rival achieves the one thing you're missing, there are 2 paths: acknowledge it or minimize it. Cristiano chose the second, and he did it with a sentence that, if you listen closely, sounds more like self-defense than conviction. Since when did the World Cup stop being important? Since when did it stop defining anything? Because if we revisit old interviews, public statements, even advertising campaigns, we'll find the same Cristiano saying his biggest dream was to lift that trophy, that he would give everything to win it, that it was the ultimate goal. So, what changed? Did football change, or did the narrative change? And here comes Messi. Because you don't need to mention him for him to be present. He's in every word, every pause, every attempt to downplay what he achieved. Because Messi didn't just win the World Cup, he did it as a star, a leader, a symbol. He did it with goals, assists, gestures. He did it at the right moment, when many said he was already on the decline. And he did it without needing to say it was his dream. He showed it on the field. Cristiano, on the other hand, seems caught in a contradiction. Because if the World Cup doesn't define anything, why did he want it so much? Why did he chase it over 5 editions? Why did he lament every elimination? And even more, why now, when Messi has it, does he decide it's not that important? It's like a striker saying goals don't matter right after someone else breaks all the records. Like a goalkeeper saying saving penalties doesn't define matches right after someone wins a final doing just that. It's a way to protect yourself, to shield yourself from what you didn't achieve. But it's also a sign that sometimes ego outweighs coherence. And this isn't about attacking Cristiano. It's about understanding how football storytelling works. Because players don't only compete on the field, they compete in memory, in narrative, in legacy building. And when one of them achieves something the other didn't, the story shifts, bends, rewrites itself. Now then, what does winning a World Cup really mean? Is it just a matter of matches? Or is it the moment where everything is put to the test? Talent, pressure, history, nation, jersey, context? Because if it were only about quantity, then goal records shouldn't matter either, nor Ballon d'Ors, nor Champions League titles. But we know they do matter, because football isn't measured only in numbers. It's measured in moments, feats, heroics. And Messi had his, in Qatar, in that final against France, in that penalty kicked with soul, in that image lifting the trophy with the Arab robe, in that hug with Di Maria, in the tears of millions. And that, even if it's 7 matches, weighs. It weighs a lot. It weighs so much that it forces others to redefine what they consider important. So, what do we do with Cristiano's sentence? Do we take it as an honest opinion or an emotional reaction? Do we analyze it as part of his legacy or as an attempt to protect it? Because at the end of the day, what's at stake is not just a trophy. It's the way greatness confronts what it couldn't achieve. Cristiano Ronaldo said winning the World Cup is no longer a dream for him, that a 7-match tournament cannot define a footballer's career. And while the sentence sounds calm, almost philosophical, it echoes awkwardly, because it's not only what he says, but what it implies, and above all, what it contradicts. For years, Cristiano chased that trophy like someone chasing a shooting star. He said it in interviews, showed it on the field, cried every time he was eliminated. The World Cup was his unfinished business, his personal Everest. But now, after Messi conquered it in Qatar, that dream seems deflated. No longer a priority, no longer necessary, no longer defining. And one cannot help but wonder, did his thinking truly change, or is he rewriting the story so as not to fall behind? Because when your eternal rival achieves the one thing you lack, you have two options: applaud him or minimize it. And Cristiano chose the second. He said 7 matches are not enough to define the greatest ever. But then, why did he want them so badly? Why did he play them with such intensity? Why did he suffer them as if they were battles of life? The answer, perhaps, is not in football, but in ego, in that need to protect a legacy when someone else completes theirs. Because Messi not only won the World Cup, he did it as a figure, leader, symbol. He did it at the perfect time, when many had already written him off. And he did it without saying it was his dream. He proved it on the field. Cristiano instead seems trapped between what he was and what he couldn't be. And that doesn't make him any less great. It makes him more human. Because even idols feel even the strongest have to face the shadow of what they couldn't achieve. And that brings us to a deeper question. What truly defines a player? The titles they win or the way they face what they couldn't win? Because the World Cup isn't just a trophy. It's a stage where everything is measured. Talent, pressure, history, nation, jersey, soul. And when you win it, as Messi did, it doesn't matter if it was 7 matches. What matters is how you played them. What matters is what you transmitted. What matters is what stayed in the collective memory. So, does the World Cup define a career? Not by itself, but when you win it, and you win it the way Messi did, it's impossible for it not to matter, not to change the conversation, not to force others to see you differently. And now I leave it to you. Do you think Cristiano truly believes the World Cup doesn't matter, or is he simply trying to convince himself? Is this a sincere reflection or a strategy to protect his legacy? I'll read you in the comments. And if you like looking at football beyond the scoreboard, subscribe to the channel. Because here, we don't just talk about what happens on the field. We talk about what happens in the soul of the game. Because football, when told well, doesn't end in the 90th minute. It begins there. At 40 years old, the Portuguese star admitted that retirement is getting closer, and that it won't be an easy moment to face. It will be soon, but I think I'll be ready. I'll probably cry, yes, he said with complete honesty. After more than 2 decades at the top, the all-time goal scorer says he has been planning for that moment for a long time. It will be tough, but I've been preparing my future since I was 25, 26, 27, he revealed in his interview with Piers Morgan. But even though he already acknowledges that the goodbye is near, Cristiano remains calm. I think I'll be ready, he insisted. He says it with the same conviction with which he once promised to become a star, and with the same discipline that allowed him to stay at the top until age 40. Fully aware that no other stage can match the feeling football has given him throughout his sporting life, he added, "Everything has a beginning and an end. So, I think I'll be ready."